Hello friends, how are you? My name is Rizwan Hafiz and today we are going to start another series of lecture explaining about the antifungal drugs pharmacology. This is the first lecture and in this lecture I will be explaining about general classification of the antifungal drugs and their mechanism of action. Okay, in the upcoming videos I will explain all these classes and their drugs and their pharmacology, pharmacokinetics and dynamics one by one. But in this video I will detail classification of whole antifungal drugs. So before starting the antifungal drug, first of all let me tell you what is fungi basically. As you know that fungi is an eukaryotic cell. It means it will be having membrane bound organelles, it will be having well defined nucleus. Unlike prokaryotes, which do not have well defined nucleus and they do not have membrane bound organelles, it will be having Golgi apparatus, mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, nucleus, all membrane bound organelles will be present. Okay. Now, if we talk about the cell membrane and cell wall of the fungi, first of all, let's talk about cell wall of the fungi. Here we can see chitin is present. Right after the cell membrane, chitin will be present. As far as cell wall of animals and bacteria is concerned, they do not have chitin. In animal cell wall, cellulose is present, and in bacterial cell wall, we know that peptidoglycan is present. While in fungi, chitin is present. Now, what is chitin? Chitin is basically a polymer. Polymer means that it is made up of different monomers. It's a long polymer of special type of glucose. Okay, it's the polymer of special type of glucose and is present in the cell wall of the fungi. Right after chitin, there is another polymer that is called as glucane. That is called as glucane. Like it means it is a polymer of glucose. For example, there is a one monomer of glucose, and when lots of glucose will join together, now this is polymer of glucose, and this polymer is called as glucane. The 1,3 and 1,6 define how these two monomers are joining. For example, in 1,3 glucane, we can say that both of these glucose are joining from carbon number 1 and carbon number 3. And in this case, both these monomer will be attached from carbon number 1 and carbon number 6. Okay, so cutting the long story short, we can say that chitin is a polymer of glucose and glucane is also a polymer of glucose. Clear? Now, two types of polymer are present. There is another polymer that is present outside, is called as manoprotein. Manoprotein. Now, just like a glucose, there is another monosaccharide that is mannose. And here you can see the difference between glucose and mannose. So, this manoprotein will be formed when manoprotein is basically a glycoprotein. Like it means it is made up of glucose plus protein. In the manoprotein, the glucose will be mannose and a protein will attach over this. Now this is a manoprotein, and now this the outer layer is basically a polymer of manoprotein. It means lots of manoproteins, lots of manoprotein, they will join together to form a polymer of manoprotein, and that will form the outermost layer of the cell wall of fungi. Clear? Now let's talk about the cell membrane. Okay, in cell wall, chitin is present, glucose is present, glucane is present, and manoproteins are present. In the cell membrane, obviously, phospholipid bilayer membrane will be present, just like animal cells. Just like animal cells, phospholipid bilayer membrane will be present, but the difference is in animal cell, the sterol that is present is cholesterol, but in the fungi cell, the sterol that is present is ergosterol. Again, I will repeat. In fungi cell, ergosterol will be present, while in animal cell, cholesterol will be present. And here you can see the difference between cholesterol and ergosterol. Okay, so this was about the cell wall and cell membrane of fungi. Now let's talk about the classification. The first class which I am going to talk about is Pauline antibiotics. Pauline antibiotics, and it include amphotericin B and nystatin. What will happen? Both of these drugs, what is the mechanism of action? Both of these drugs, they have very high affinity for this ergosterol. They will come and they will attach over this ergosterol, and as a result, pores in the cell membrane will be created. Pores in the cell membrane will be created, and you know, once the pore will be created, permeability of the cell will be disturbed. It will increase. Now solute and solvent, they can come out of the cell, they can go into the cell without any permeability barrier, and this thing may lead to fungal cell death. Okay. Similarly, nystatin also, it has very high permeability for the ergosterol. It will attach over it and cause the pores, and these micropores will cause the disturbance in the permeability, which will lead to the fungal cell death. Clear? Now, second class of drug is echinocandins. Echinocandins, and the example include caspofungin and micafungin. Caspofungin and micafungin. Now, to understand the mechanism of echinocandin, let's talk about an enzyme that is called as beta-glucan synthase. And this enzyme is present in the cell membrane, plasma membrane of the fungi. This enzyme, as I have talked about, that glucan is a polymer of glucose. So it means lots of glucose are required for the synthesis of glucan, and these glucose will be provided from the cytoplasm, and the enzyme that will be providing these glucose is called as beta-glucan synthase, and this enzyme is present in the cell membrane. Now, echinocandins, they have tendency to block this enzyme, and once this enzyme will be blocked, the transport of glucose from the cytoplasm to the cell will be blocked, and cell wall synthesis will be inhibited. Cell wall synthesis will not take place. So in this way, caspofungin and micafungin act by blocking the beta-glucan synthase enzyme present in the cell membrane. Detail of all these classes and all these drugs along with their pharmacokinetic and pharmacodynamic will be discussed in later video one by one. So this is basically a general classification. Okay. So now the next class is allyl amines. Allyl amines. Now to understand the mechanism of action of allyl amines, let's talk about how ergosterol gets synthesized in the fungal cell. The precursor of ergosterol is saqualene. Saqualene, that is present in the cytoplasm of the fungi. Saqualene will be converted into saqualene epoxide with the help of an enzyme, saqualene epoxidase. Saqualene epoxide will be converted into lanosterol, and that lanosterol will be converted into ergosterol with the help of very important enzyme 14-alpha demethylase. 14-alpha demethylase enzyme. Now, allyl amines are basically going to block these saqualene epoxide enzyme. And once this saqualene epoxide enzyme will be blocked, the conversion of saqualene to saqualene epoxide will be blocked, and synthesis of ergosterol will not take place. And we know that once ergosterol synthesis will be blocked, obviously the permeability of cell membrane will get disturbed. And other than permeability, these ergosterol also help in strengthening the cell membrane. So strength of integrity of cell membrane will also get disturbed. Okay, in this way, allyl amine, the example is terbinafine, which they block the saqualene epoxide. Azoles basically also block the synthesis of ergosterol, but their target enzyme is not saqualene epoxide. Their target enzyme is 14 alpha demethylase. Azoles, which include imidazole and triazoles. Imidazole include miconazole and ketoconazole, very common antifungal drugs. And similarly, triazole include fluconazole, itraconazole, and voriconazole. All these, the discussion about these drugs will be discussed in later part of the video. Don't worry about them. Okay. Now, azoles, they will also block ergosterol synthesis by blocking the 14 alpha demethylase. And once the ergosterol synthesis will be blocked, the integrity of cell membrane will get disturbed. Okay, and fungal cell will not be able to survive. Okay. Now there is fifth class, that is anti-metabolites. Anti-metabolites. An example is flucytosine. To understand the exact mechanism of action of flucytosine, first of all, let me tell you that there are two type of nitrogenous bases are present in the cell. The one is purine and other is pyrimidine. Purine is adenine and guanine, and pyrimidine is cytosine and thymine. And in case of RNA, it will be cytosine and uracil. Clear? Now this flucytosine. Okay, if any one of these nitrogenous base get blocked, what will happen? Do you think the synthesis of DNA, RNA will take place? Obviously not. Okay, so basically flucytosine is going to block the synthesis of thymidine monophosphate nucleotide. You know, different nucleotides are required for the synthesis of DNA, RNA, and one of the nucleotide that is made up of thymine base, that nucleotide is called as thymidine monophosphate nucleotide. This nucleotide will be blocked by flucytosine. Let's talk about how flucytosine act. Okay. One more thing, let me tell you that thymidine monophosphate is synthesized from the uridine monophosphate. Uracil. In the nucleotide in which uracil will be present is called as uridine monophosphate. Okay, uridine monophosphate will be converted into thymidine monophosphate with the help of enzyme thymidylate synthase. Okay, now let's talk about the flucytosine. Flucytosine, with the help of enzyme permease, it will get enter into the fungal cell wall. Now there is a special kind of enzyme, cytosine deaminase, is present. Cytosine deaminase is present in the fungal cell wall, and it will remove one amine group, and flucytosine will be converted into 5-fluorouracil. Let me tell you that cytosine deaminase is not present in animal cell. So this thing indicates that flucytosine is very specific against the fungi cell wall, because this enzyme who is converting flucytosine into 5-fluorouracil is not present in animal cell. It is only present in fungal cell. So in animal cell this conversion cannot take place. Now once the flucytosine has been converted into 5-fluorouracil, it will be converted into 5-fluorouridine monophosphate. 5-fluorouridine monophosphate. Now here you can see that uridine monophosphate was using this enzyme to convert into thymidine monophosphate. Now this 5-fluorouridine monophosphate exactly resemble in its structure with this uridine monophosphate. This 5-fluorouridine monophosphate resemble with uridine monophosphate. Now what will happen? There will be a competition between both of these substrate for this enzyme. And this competition will be won by 5-fluorouridine monophosphate. Now this 5-fluorouridine monophosphate will get attached over the thymidylate synthase enzyme, but this enzyme will not be able to convert this 5-fluorouridine monophosphate into thymidine monophosphate. So we can say that 5-fluorouridine monophosphate is basically blocking this enzyme. And once this enzyme has been blocked, has been completely occupied by the 5-fluorouridine monophosphate, the uridine monophosphate will not be able to convert into thymidine monophosphate. Thymidine monophosphate. So it means thymidine monophosphate, that is a nucleotide, will not be formed. And once a nucleotide is not being formed, obviously the process of replication and the process of transcription in which DNA is being synthesized and RNA is being synthesized will get disturbed. Okay, again I will repeat. Flucytosine will get enter into the cell with the help of permease. Now flucytosine will be converted into 5-fluorouracil with the help of enzyme cytosine deaminase. 5-fluorouracil will be converted into 5-fluorouridine monophosphate, and this 5-fluorouridine monophosphate will block the thymidylate synthase, and once this enzyme is blocked, the conversion of uridine monophosphate into thymidine monophosphate will not take place. And once this conversion will not be taken place, obviously this nucleotide will not form, and DNA and RNA synthesis will be compromised. It will get disturbed. Okay, so in this way anti-metabolite drugs act. Now the sixth class is microtubules inhibitor. And the example is graziofulvin. Okay, microtubules are basically a polymer of tubulin protein. And now these microtubules, they play two very important functions. The one, during the mitosis, they help in the separation of chromosome. During the metaphase, they help in the separation of chromosome. And second, these microtubules also play a very important role as they are the cytoskeleton of the cell. Like my skeleton is giving me a support and shape. Similarly, cytoskeleton of the cell give the cell support and shape. So once these microtubules will be blocked, as I have explained, that these microtubules are basically polymer of tubulin protein. It means lots of tubulin protein will join together to form this microtubule. And graziofulvin, it will bind with the tubulin protein. So the structure and the function of microtubules will get disturbed. Now it will not be able to support the cell structure. It will not be able to give shape, proper shape to the cell, and furthermore the process of mitosis will also get disturbed. So in this way, microtubules inhibitor, example is graziofulvin, act as a antifungal drug. So this was all about the antifungal drug classification. In the next video, we will talk about choline and all its pharmacokinetic and dynamic. Please don't forget to like my video and share this video, and please don't forget to subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you may get notification for the future videos as well. Thank you so much.